Hey, this morning I'm going to just walk you through my routine for writing sales copy as part of what we do for marketing. And today I'm going to be writing sales copy for a new listing that's coming online with the real estate team. I often get asked to help with sales copy. Well, what is sales copy? It's just the written communication of whatever you're putting out there to market, right? So when you have a home that you're trying to market, the sales copy is very, very important. It's not the most important component, but all of these little components add up to creating a good marketing piece for a home or for whatever else you're trying to market. But anyway, so here's just my checklist. I like to have good lighting, so I make sure my curtains are open here, and I make sure my lamp is on. Got two lamps there, kind of a cool one. And it's funny. I like to wear shorts and t-shirts, and I've done this ever since my advertising days at BYU. So I don't know if it's just because it keeps me young or whatever, but I call it being in the trenches. So when I'm in the marketing trenches working on creative stuff, whether it's sales copy or graphic design or whatever, any of those things, we're trying to come up with creative stuff, I just got to be in shorts and t-shirts. So anyway, it's just how it is. Obviously, I don't go out and meet with clients in shorts and t-shirt, things like that, or go to church in shorts and t-shirt, as much as I'd like to. But anyway, but when I'm doing marketing, I like to be in shorts and t-shirt. I like to have music playing that's inspiring, because you got to get your mind inspired, right? So I'm listening today to Weezer, a really great album, Pacific Daydream. So I hope that doesn't violate any copyright issues here while we listen out in the background. I don't crank it up necessarily, because I still want my mind to be thinking forward. Once we've got the environment right, then I'm in a much better spot to sit down and think creatively and actually think in terms of what do the customers want. So here's the thing about sales copy and sales in general. A salesperson's only job really is to help people get what they already want. So I'm not trying to write copy that would persuade somebody that wouldn't want whatever's offered, in this case, a house or this particular house. What I'm doing is I'm writing copy that will relate to the right audience, that would connect to the right audience, if you will. So somebody that really wants this house can have a really good description of it and will connect with it. That way, the right audience will see it, the right people will see it, at least there's a better chance, and you'll have a much better chance of connecting a buyer and a seller. The process goes quicker, usually more money, those types of things. And so sales copy is a very, very important part of connecting people together. Okay, so now we got everything put together, we got the drink, we got all this stuff, so let's dive right in. Okay, one of the first things that I do is I make sure that my computer is set on Do Not Disturb. I don't want texts coming in, I don't want emails coming in, I just need a few minutes where I can just think and look, see what we've got here. So on my left, I have my property profile sheet, and this gives me just a framework of what I can write about. And then over here on my right, I have the photography that just came in from our professional photographer. Photography is incredibly important. Imagery and words, that's what marketing is, right? The big thing is we want to create sales copy that creates communication that connects a potential buyer that wants this property. So in sales, it's really easy for people to think, well, sales is really crappy because people are trying to talk me into something I don't want. That's not ever what we try and do with sales copy or in marketing. What we want to do is we want to connect people to help them get what they want. And accurate descriptions, accurate imagery, those types of things help people get what they want. So if somebody doesn't want a house, I'm not going to try and sell them a house. I don't, or whatever. So we want to help people get what they want. That's the only job sales and marketing truly has. And when you think about it that way, it's like, oh, okay, that's really cool. All right, so on my left, I got my profile sheet. On my right, I've got my photos. So the first thing I like to do is I just like to go through the photos. I like to take a look at what this looks like. Now, I've been to this house as well, but the photography looks fantastic. The homeowners have done a great job getting the house ready for staging and listing. So it's going to make my job quite a bit easier, right? But as it turns out, every property out there will have things that you can write about. Even if it's a house that is beat to death in the middle of nowhere, that home might be a great investment for somebody, and somebody will want it, right? So, okay, so we're getting an idea of what this house looks like. It looks really great. So I will just go through and I will write based on the overall feel of the house. So this particular house, to me, I could list 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, or whatever. I don't know what the specs are just yet, but I'm not too worried about the specs. I want to create the feeling. So this is what could be a very traditional American style home, complete with, look at that on the right hand side, an apple tree. So how would I write that? So maybe you could write it like this: as American as apple pie, this home will give the new homeowner a sense of accomplishment and tradition. See, so I'm creating that feeling, right? Now I'm going to rewrite this, but I'm just kind of going down, getting an idea. Okay, as apple pie, this home, and then you could even say, speaking of apple pie, in fact, this will actually come down a little further, but speaking of apple pie, bake your own using fresh apples from the tree and the high-end range, because I know in there's a high-end range. Okay, so what we're doing is we're putting that together. So that's going to be an interior thing right there. So I'll put that there. So I just start getting ideas of the feel. So if I go through this property, we go into the kitchen. I know the kitchen, see if we can get a good, right there. The kitchen has a really, really great oven that the owner spent a lot of money on. So I'm pairing that apple tree with that range and oven to create that feeling of the traditional American feel, right? Almost a sense of patriotism. And in fact, when you go up here, this type of brickwork gives you a feel of that kind of that old Boston feel. So this house, the brickwork. So as I'm looking at this home, the feeling that keeps coming to me is this sense of patriotism from 1776. So I might write according to that style just a little bit. Now I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not going to, claim things that aren't true. But again, the idea is we want that style to come through. So there's that apple tree there. Okay, so it's all about the feeling. So what type of feeling is exuded? So again, we have this type of traditional looking chandelier here, which is very American, a very American feel. Beadboard here in the shelves, again, very American type feel. There's another image there. The wood floors there, traditional wood floors. Again, I really like that American feel. So that is the approach, a feeling of freedom. So what I'll do then is I'll write maybe just a few words up under here: freedom, independence, patriotism even. That could be, maybe that's a little too much. Freedom, but this, again, I'm trying to get that overall feel of this property. Old-fashioned values, nostalgia. I don't know how to spell that. Nostalgic, that kind of thing. Apparently that's not the right way to spell it. There we go. Thanks, spell checker. Okay, so that just is how we work through it. If I'm looking at this kitchen, instead of just saying this kitchen is updated and it's awesome, I would say enjoy laughter. Let's throw that in there right now. Enjoy evenings of laughter around the giant island. Laughter with loved ones. around the giant island as you pull out a freshly baked apple pie from using apples from your very own tree. Okay, you see that? That's the type of imagery that we're talking about. And it takes a little bit to get going. Got to kind of juice it up a little bit. But that's what we're after. So enjoy evenings of laughter with loved ones around the giant island as you pull out a freshly baked apple pie using apples from your very own tree. Okay, that is describing a lifestyle. And you see how that's a feeling? It's a totally different feeling than, hey, this has a cool island, right? Or this has a great oven, whatever. Okay? So that's what we're after. And the reason why we want really good sales copy is because, again, we want to connect the right audience, somebody that's looking for this feel. In the end, people aren't just looking for features. They're not just looking for specifications. And that's typically what most salespeople will put out. They'll just put out the specs, right? That's baseline stuff. What we want is we want the feeling. People are always looking for a feeling. And if you've bought a house before, you've bought any product before, something that you've totally fell in love with, it's always that you fall in love with it. And so our sales copy and our imagery has to create that lifestyle so somebody can actually picture themselves falling in love with the whatever you're selling. In this case, this is our listing. So anyway, lots of stuff that we could do here with the basement and that kind of thing. Now, when you have your sales copy all put together, if it's good enough, then we don't just use it for MLS. You can put it all over the place. Put it in mailings, we put it in social media, all that kind of stuff, and it really, really helps generate that overall feeling that we're going for. Okay, so that's really how I do it. We get it all put together. I put it in this sheet, and then once I've assembled it all, I'll go over and actually just type it out, edit it. I'll have somebody look over it, make sure we don't have any errors or anything like that, make sure it makes sense. And one thing I do too that's really helpful is once I've got it all put together and I think I'm in a good spot, I'll actually read it out loud. Because there's one thing, when you read it out loud, any mistakes or kind of funky things with flow, they'll pop right out. It's super, super helpful to do that. So anyway, so that's how I do sales copy. Again, we're doing this for a listing that's coming up. The real estate team, we feel like marketing is just a super, super important part. In fact, the most critical part of the whole thing. And as marketers in general, we take the approach of marketing very, very seriously. And I hope you can see why. But I hope this helps when you're going to write your own sales copy, classified ad, whatever. Give it a stab. It's actually kind of fun. Okay? All right. Talk to you soon.